Welcome to the 2025 IOD Holiday Release, and I could not wait to get started with this project. I think that I am most inspired by old architecture, and that's kind of what I wanted to embrace in this project. Of course, I'm using IOD air dry clay. It is the best. It's soft, it's pliable, minimal cracking. I love it. And I am featuring the Winter Forage Mould. Look at all of the amazing detail. And of course, there's the patented rim to help you level off all of your clay elements. And I'm going to incorporate a few of these, if not all of them. There are the 2 pine cones, some ferns, the holly leaves. So I just have to see how this is all going to come together. I'm also going to be using the IOD Bows Mould. It is an absolute favorite of mine, and I'm hoping to make the bow look like it's been stored in an attic and it's dried out and it's faded. So that's the look I'm hoping to do with the Bows Mould. And then I want to add some other elements. Right now I'm leaning toward dainty flourishes, using some of these corner elements and some elements that I can run along the side. There are some other really good candidates for that too. Classic elements would work really well, and olive crest. So I just have to see where it all ends up. So let's go ahead and get started. I am using 1/2-inch sanded interior plywood, and my board measures 12 by 16. I've sanded the edges, and I am ready to get started. I'm starting with a 12 by 16-inch board, and I'm going to paint it in an off-white chalk style paint, just so that I have a toothy surface or my molds to adhere to. I'm also going to add some texture to the background just by troweling it on, and that will help give it that old architectural kind of feel to it. Now that my board's prepped, I'm ready to start casting my molds. I'll be using IOD air dry clay because I love the character that clay gives to my pieces. I'll be taking advantage of the micro rim to make sure that my castings are nice and level. And I like to use cornstarch to lightly dust the mold to make releasing each element super easy. I'm loving the look of this fern element, and then I'm mixing this one in, this more little sprig. And there are times where I'm just using just the top of this. So I've got those there. I got some of the acorns about where I want them. And then I've got just top sections that I'm going to add, and I kind of keep placing my bow on there to see how I'm liking it. And this I'm liking a lot. I'm probably going to do a couple of more sprigs there, and then I'm going to start gluing things into place. So I'm wanting the aesthetic to be old, vintage, and maybe something that has collected some dust over time. So I'm using a brown with a gray undertone, and I'm also going to grab some white in. I base coated this entire thing in white, and it's not completely dry yet. And I'm going to just get this paint on there and wipe it back. I'm starting by painting the bow. I'm again using clay-based paints. I'm using a deeper red, mixing in a little bit of more of an antique orange. And I'm not going for complete coverage. I'm letting some of that white clay peek through. You'll see a little bit down the road where I start adding a little bit of a cream to the paint as well. I want to mix in the deep shades with some of the more rusty shades, and then use some of that warm color to give the appearance of dust that's clung to the bow maybe over time. And I'll keep going back and forth with the colors. It really adds to the depth of that element. Once I was happy with the bow, I started painting the pine elements. I'm using a pretty true green, maybe it has a little bit of a blue undertone, mixing in that off-white color. Again, I'm not going for complete coverage. In some areas, I'm using more of the green, but I'm going through and covering the tops and even hitting the sides of all of the pine elements. I had so much fun painting the pine cones. I started with a layer of a darker brown paint. Then I mixed in some of that vintage orange with the off-white to add just some rusting on just the tips and the high points of the pine cones. And then I ended by going in with that soft cream with a little bit of white added in, just to give that illusion of dust once again. For the background, I used a combination of a warmer gray mixed in with that off-white and a little bit of white. I painted close to the elements so that I covered any of that darker brown that I used in the very first step to give it an old-aged antique look. So I'm pretty happy with where it's at, but this is kind of where I step back. And I would like my background a little bit darker so that my subject pops a little bit. And then I'm going to dry brush just a little bit on the tops of the elements. And then I'm going to add some gold. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with the new Winter Forage Mould and the rest of the items from the IOD Holiday Release 2025. Whatever you make, happy creating, everybody.